You got challenges that you're going to run across.
They don't know. Like what you said, I always said it's a difference between, you said tax preparers. It's a difference between tax preparers, tax professionals, and tax strategists.
And wait a minute.
So
wait a minute. This is the one, and I remember, you know, my PhD people in my family, or not PhD, just say the educated ones. They had a problem with me not dealing with a tax accountant because they didn't have the accountant behind their name. You know, the degree that you get for that.
Yeah.
Right. So is it called tax accountant, right? Is it? I mean,
no, it's CPA.
CPA. I'm sorry, I'm saying accountant. Yeah. So they had a problem with that, and I'm like, there are people that are CPAs that probably don't know, because I know you get a lot of training. You going off, you learning new stuff all the time, and you a tax. Okay, name the three you just named. You said tax preparer.
Well, and I don't say that because it's no. I would say designation that you really. Basically this is a term in the industry, but you don't get no levels. Like a CPA is basically a level because you have to go take a class, you get a license for it. But when I say a tax preparer, tax professional, tax strategist, that's a term that we use that don't have a specific designation. So I may say you're a tax preparer if all you know how to do is just put the stuff in the system.
Right.
And you put it in the system, you can put my W-2s in, you can put my children's stuff in. But if I say break that tax return down, you'd be like, oh my God, like the computer said you're getting back such and such. So a preparer can just put stuff in the computer. They understand the software. They can put it in. They just a tax preparer. A tax professional is someone that could actually maybe have a little knowledge. You know, maybe know a little something, been doing it for a while. They put your stuff in, they know a little something. But a tax strategist gonna look at your stuff and say, this is what you need to be doing a year from now. Because if you're trying to get a house, you're trying to get property, they're gonna come up with strategies for you to save money. So it's nothing designated by the IRS. It's just industry terms when I say professionals. Okay. So she was a tax professional. I mean, she was a tax preparer. Yeah. So right. Because she didn't want to, she said she didn't know that stuff.
She said that.
So which I commend her.
Yourself a strategist, and and let me ask you this: why would a person use a CPA instead of a strategist, or can a CPA also be a strategist? What I'm trying to say is, you know, people use that term CPA because they have that degree in it, but does that mean that they automatically know more than somebody like you?
Tony, know what I always say?
What?
Know how many CPA taxes I do? For CPAs? I do a bunch of CPA taxes. Like, right. Because again, just because you in the industry don't mean you as proficient. You got to understand. I tell you, I'm in this 26 years.
Yeah, right.
It ain't much that I haven't seen or don't know. So
this is my life. This is what I do.
First and foremost, what a CPA mean is you went and took a course, you did a class, you licensed. So just because I got a license don't mean I'm proficient at what I do. Mm-hmm. Now, for a long time, CPAs, because they figured they were a little bit better than everybody, they didn't really mess with taxes too much. They dealt with audits, you know, with financials, you know, profit and loss statements, balance sheets, all those things. But then when the economy got tough, CPAs kind of started jumping in the tax game. But you got to understand, if I become a CPA and I go to school for accounting, they don't teach a whole lot of taxes where I'm going to be super, super proficient. So I still got to have on-the-job training. So if I get out of school and I never take my training to another level, I'm going to be a CPA who still kind of know the basics.
Now, you being a strategist and you telling me when you did mine that I should go to the S CORP, you know, I didn't argue with you. I know, but I'm sure you have challenges, not even arguments, from people because meaning you being a strategist, meaning also that you're a helper. That means you're trying to help everybody. And a lot of times, some of the people you're trying to help, they just can't see it. They just don't feel it. So I know, you know, when you say, you probably told a person, I've told you that 10 times, but it's not like, okay, being a strategist, I'm gonna tell you, you have to be caring for a person. You have to really, if you use the strategies that people will need at this level, at that level, and you trying to tell them that, some people probably are not even trying to advance like that. So do you catch yourself a lot saying, "That needs to be"?
No, not a lot. You get some people who debate me on what somebody told them or whatever, and I'll say, so you rather pay an extra $3,000 per year than take this one step that's gonna save you, and then after that, I don't try to convince you no more. But for the most part, I would say at least 95% of the people that I explain, because I show you how much money you can save. So when you can see that I can save 5,000, 7,000, 3,000, then at that point be like, well, how fast can I do it? Because if I'm basically doing the same thing anyway, and all I got to do is take this one extra step to save thousands of dollars, most people are gonna be like, oh yeah, I'm for it. Like where we start, how we get started. You're gonna have some people regardless, like that ain't gonna do it. And I always say, I understand. One thing I've been good at is understanding that everybody ain't my client, and it's okay.
Okay.
And it's okay.
So let's go back to the 11 locations. I want you to do this. I want you to name all 11, and then we come back and I'm gonna ask you questions about. I know you don't have 11 set up now, but where was 11? The first one was Atlanta.
Four. I had four. I had four in Atlanta.
Okay.
So I had Mableton, College Park, Stone Mountain, and Cumberland. Okay. Then I had New Orleans, Tennessee, Houston, LA.
What part of Tennessee?
In Nashville.
Okay.
Dallas. I had Dallas, and then I had somebody in Slidell, which is outskirts of New Orleans.
Right.
Golly, what was the last one?
Do you have one in Houston?
Yeah, I named Houston.
Okay.
Damn, the other one gonna come to me though.
Okay, so let's just go back to the four in Atlanta. When you went outside of Atlanta, did you strategically look for somebody, or somebody came to you, or you just said, man, I think we can work together here? And I mean, how did you set up?
I strategically looked for people. I found people that I knew personally that I thought would be good for business and good for this, and I presented them with the opportunity. And what I did was I created a franchise. So I started franchising, and then I would train them, you know, to run in their locations. And I bet I
can ask you this. I know I can ask you that, but I'm gonna ask you this question, and I bet I know what the answer is. It's going to either be two answers. Either, okay, why didn't some of these locations work? And I'm gonna say is either the person wasn't ethical or they didn't have the mindset to keep it going. Now, is there something else?
Yeah, ethics was never a reason, bro. Because one thing, because I handpicked pretty much the majority of the people. So I already knew their character, and they already knew what I would expect. And I was conscious of that because, again, my background, I can't afford to be associated, you know, with nobody that might have been shaky.
I got to tell you something funny, man. And I hate to say this because I probably said this on one of the other podcasts, and somebody else listening gonna be like, man, you done told that story. But it's so funny when you said you can't afford to deal with that. I had a partner of mine here about 10 years ago. He had a car wash over off Full Industrial. And I was riding with him one day when we left the gym, and he was setting up another one up in Marietta. And his boy was running the one in Full Industrial, and he was going to, you know, run the one in Marietta too. His partner he'd been with for years. So his partner called him and said, now we setting up over here. I just want to make sure that we're doing the exact same thing that we're doing in Full Industrial. And he said, just so smoothly, he said, yeah, we doing all that. And I need you to keep stealing the same amount that you're stealing down there. He's already counted that. That's on the books. Don't take no more than what you're doing down here.
Consistency,
and,
baby.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? He was dead serious about it too, because he was like, he don't know that I know that he's taking some stuff. He said, but I'm good with that. That's my boy. but you know, stay the same way up there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
I know what you're doing. But yeah, you said that you could, you know, smaller business can't afford to get people robbing you like this. So it had to be mindset then. How did they not stay?
Well, even though, like I say, people, it looks like a good opportunity, and some of them did eventually start reaching out to me, but everybody just don't have that dog in them. Yeah. And like I say, when you gotta eat what you kill, yeah, everybody ain't about that life. And a lot of it in this business, because my platform wasn't nationwide billboards and commercials where people just automatically gonna come to you. I always taught the motto of, you got to go to networking events. You got to get out and go get in organizations, and you got to meet people, and then you bring them in from there, because you create relationships. And this business is a security business, so people want relationships, but everybody don't have that. Go out and network, talk to people, pass out cards, you know, and so only very few have that. So it was hard for, you know, a lot of people to really manifest the type of money that they want, because they had to control it through their actions, and it ain't for everybody.
Do you still have that thought process that you want to expand in other cities because somebody listening now, or do you just say, I don't need to do that, I got what I got here is running? Because you got a system, man, where, you know, you have what I call a real business, because you always traveling, which we're going to talk about, and your business still runs. And I look at it that way, because if you can't travel and your business shut down when you travel, you really don't have one. You know, maybe you starting off. We're gonna get to that point, but are you still looking to expand like that, or you got other ways that you plan on making money? Make sure that you like and subscribe and hit the all button and all that kind of stuff, because we're gonna have a lot of good interviews on this podcast.